You talked before about key HR success strategies, and you talked about culture as one of those. What do you want us to know about company culture, and why is it key to not only HR, but to your point, like just the overall growth and the success of the business?
Yeah, I think different companies use that terminology in different ways. I've been at companies before that have the culture statement behind you and somebody's presenting, and everyone in the crowd is just sitting there shaking their head, going, this person should not be on that stage. They don't embody any word that is behind them. So I think number one, you have to be accountable to whatever you're saying, and everyone has to be accountable, and it can't be someone in the C suite who behaves completely contrary, because then you have no culture. You just have a cute slide that's behind you. I think the other thing is it's the words are important, the actions are more important. And the actions range from how you behave in your group meetings to how you behave just when you're walking around talking to people. If you say you have a culture that you listen to everyone and then your executive team is never accessible, available, or interested, you don't have that culture. I also think it's important to stress test, and you have to do that in multi modes. So you can do engagement surveys. I'm a big fan of those. You need to follow up on those, by the way, but you also can do just small one on one or one on three or one on two meetings. And you need to ask people what we're saying. Is it still who we are? And be comfortable that sometimes you might get an answer that you didn't want, but I'd rather know that than wake up one day and have people leaving saying, yeah, what you put up on that slide or what you said in that meeting or what you said to me one on one is not the truth.
Yeah, the way I always think about this is if you talk to any VC firm, private equity firm, where they put their money for the desire for a huge return, they invest in the people first, the idea second. So, this idea of culture, and is that a part of that curiosity? The curiosity of, are we actually delivering on an organization where people want to work here? We retain people. We don't have a churn. We don't have then to train. We don't have junior people. We have seasoned people. That to me is got to be a big part of, and it was what I took away from our last conversation, that strategic plan for growth. The people are going to get us there.
I think it's also really about alignment in everything you do. And if you're rolling out a development program or rolling out a communication, it should all thread together. And when it doesn't acknowledge that, I think the other thing is you need to. I'm a real big fan of being honest, even when it's ugly. I would rather admit, just like I tell our employees, when you make a mistake, and we're in the business of risk. So if you're not making mistakes, oh, by the way, you're probably not doing your job at the end of the day. But when you make a mistake as an individual, you should take accountability for it. When you make a mistake as a company, you should take accountability for it. And I think that it gets wrapped up in, oh, we're going to create a legal situation or we're going to look bad. You look a lot worse when you kind of, a term here in the South, put lipstick on the pig and say, oh, everything's okay. Nothing happened. Just ignore that and get on with your job. I think it's important once in a while. Hopefully it's only once in a while to say, yeah, we didn't do that. Like, we're sorry. Like, we're not going to make the same mistake again. I think people will show you some grace, but when you try and gloss it over and ignore it, you don't really deserve any grace, truthfully.